Hey, I'm Mike, and this is my 2005 V8 LR3. Today we're going to try and do a little rewiring with the lights, and I'm going to add a little auxiliary backup light that's going to mount there. At least I think it is. We'll see what happens. So pretty much all LR3s come with this little feature here on the lights. See right here, you turn the light on, pull it out once, and you get your front fogs show up on the dash. Pull it out again, and you get this little amber light here, which gives you pa-ping, this little light here, which is pretty useless. I'm not really sure why they even added it, maybe to give you a bit more backup light, but it doesn't really do anything. So I'm gonna try and basically open this up and find the wires and rewire my little lights in to make me have more backup light or auxiliary light for when I'm setting up a campsite or working on the truck or backing up in the dark or, you know, towing something, whatever. Okay, so first thing we want to do is find out if I can even wire this little LED light up to this and it's going to get power. So we're going to take this off. There's a Phillips here, and then it just kind of pops out on the side. Okay, so we've popped this off. The bottom one is the little auxiliary backup light. So that's the little wires running to it. I've just cut these, and this might be a little awkward, but I'm just going to try and take my little auxiliary light, hook it up here, and voila, we got a light. So now I know that that works. It's just a matter of essentially figuring out how I'm going to wire this little baby here down into here and into here. So the next phase in my master plan is to actually get the lights mounted in and then wired up. Now on the back of the LR3, there's a few spots, you know, you could have something on the bumper down here. I was thinking maybe you could have something there under the light. This I feel like would be a pain in the ass to get to. You'd have to take all this bumper shit off. This, not horrible, but then really it's just shooting off to the side. And then I noticed that this little panel here is just like a plastic thing that pops off the tailgate of the truck. So I can pop this off, cut some holes, and screw that in, and those should mount on there just beautifully. By the way, these are a 5-inch LED that I bought on Amazon, waterproof. I don't know how good they are. They were like 35 bucks Canadian. We're gonna try them out, and you know, if they're crap, then maybe I'll replace them with something else. Okay, so just showing you how this panel comes off. If you've ever frigged around with your vehicle, you're familiar with these little tabs. They pop off. I'm using my nail bar, which is metal, on the back of the vehicle. I might scratch it. I don't care. You may care. But you just kind of slowly go along and just pry it and pop, 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 pop. And then this thing comes off, and we should just be able to mark the holes where the lights are going to fit in. This part, I mean, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, but really, if you are going to try and do this, you can figure all this stuff out yourself. These particular lights came with a little template. I literally just dropped it on here and traced a circle, and then went over here, did the same thing, traced a little circle, which I'm going to cut out, and I just quickly measured just to make sure that they're kind of in the right place, but I'm not too miffed that they're off by a millimeter or two. So we're going to cut these out and try and mount the lights in and then get them wired up. So there is the finished product, the two LEDs that were wired from the useless little tail lights here. Super easy to do, super simple. Just this, as I showed you when I pried this off, this is just a thin plastic. So I chopped that out, 4 screw holes. The screws were a bit long, so I had to cut them with my grinder, and then ran the wire, drilled a little hole here, ran the wire in behind the tail light where it hooks up to the wire that we chopped from this light. So it's all pretty closed up. It's not like you're seeing a bunch of wires and crap everywhere. I will say the one issue that I did have was these lights are a 5-inch, and then they're a 1/2-inch depth behind whatever you're mounting them to. Even though this is flexible plastic and there is space back there, this was still a little, it didn't want to fit in. So I kind of Frankensteined it, and I was like hitting it with a hammer, and I did a bit of cutting with my grinder and just smashed it back to push the light in. I think what I would recommend is if you do want to do something like this, get a bit of a smaller light, like maybe a 3-inch or even a 2-inch light here, and then you have a smaller footprint, and then you could just cut a little hole, saw a hole, so your light just fits in if it needs more depth. But that is pretty much it. It was really easy to do. Hopefully, since this is an LR3, I'm not going to get like some sort of transmission fault or some other shit for doing this rewiring. But yeah, that's it. It's a nice little off-road mod.